third time using English, so it's going to be a little tricky tonight, but we'll overcome it. A heart by South, 3 clubs by West, which I suspect might be more than weak. That is quite a hand by the West hand to only making a 3 club bid if it's preemptive. So what's going to happen here? They're going to lose 2 club tricks for sure, and maybe 3. No hearts, a diamond, and a spade. So it's going to be touch and go whether they make 3 clubs. He seemed to have had a better fit in diamonds, but I don't know that you could make any game anywhere. Let's see, probably a good analyst like Larry Cohn would have been able to figure this out. My job is to entertain you. Larry's going to keep you informed. Larry's giving me blow by blow from the sidelines. I'm sorry you can't hear him yet. He's quite a funny and knowledgeable guy. We're going to have some fun tonight. Bob Hamman is known as the world's oldest living junior. He's got quite a reputation. He's in his, I can tell you exactly how old he is now. He's 79 years old and plays just as well as anybody you know. Amazing human being, great for bridge.
Okay, let's see. Can anyone hear me now?
Loud and clear, Larry.
Okay, we're getting some yeses. George, you made me smile a lot, as I expected, but now I'm going to bring the serious voice of reason to this broadcast and try to keep you in line.
It may be too late for that, Larry.
I really do wonder what 3 clubs said. I do have the convention card. It's the only one we received for East-West are Kyle and David. And under jump overcall, it says weak. And I do espouse kind of anything goes when your partner is a passed hand, but I think that's a little bit too extreme because you could easily miss a game. I would have said 2-no trump for the minors. I'm guessing you as well, George.
Yes, I totally agree. And in fact, if you put the Queen of Diamonds in the East hand, sort of a random card, I think you're close for a game.
So we're watching a 15-board practice match here. It's kind of training. I believe there's going to be a selection for the junior team. I don't know the exact details, how it works. Maybe you know, George?
I believe they have a trials just like we do for everybody else. Previously, they've had an online portion of the trials and then a live face-to-face portion. I don't know if they're going to continue to have the online portion, but we'll see.
Well, certainly for training purposes to play these deals and have analysis from people like Michael and Debbie Rosenberg, and there's probably too many to list, and for the boards and discuss what you could have done and not done. I can't think of a better way to learn and improve.
I'm being told I can't be heard very well, so I'm turning up the volume. Let me know.
Just what we need, not just George, but George at high volume.
It's everybody's worst nightmare, I'll tell you that.
Okay, so here we have East with a hand too good for a weak 2 bid, unless you're really, really old school. So we, George, you and I know players who would open 2 hearts, but 1 heart is certainly the modern action.
It's not a very good hand, but I agree with one heart. It's just too good to jump to two hearts.
Now, I don't know about the response of one spade. I'm more of a, if you only have one thing to say, maybe they play one heart, two hearts shows a better hand. I like to raise hearts when I have three hearts, only four spades, and a weak hand, but perhaps systemically we can see maybe one heart, two hearts is constructive or something.
Unless it is, that's the only reason why you wouldn't bid hearts right away. So for those of you listening, support your partner's suit as quickly as possible. Even if you have a 4-4 spade fit, you don't have much of a hand here, and it's probably better to let partner play the hand anyway.
George, someone named Stacy asked me a private question. Do you know who that is?
Oh, that's my old girlfriend. Oh, you know what? We got married, so that's why she's my old girlfriend.
Okay, well, she has a good question. She wants to know if if I would open two hearts vulnerable against not, and I think I would. Vol against not, it shows quite a good hand. So let's see what Hamman did here. He doubled, and then he did 2-no trump, which his partner might have taken as minors. I guess there's no way to know how he took it. I think 2-no should be natural. Well, because he could double again for minors.
That is correct.
So this was just Hamman doubling and bidding again to show more than a 1-no overcall. And these days, when your opponents are white on red, they have a license to steal. So from North's point of view, his partner could still be sitting there with 6-7 points, and they could be stealing a vulnerable game. So I think you have to say 2-no, and granted, you could go for 1100 on a bad day.
Actually, Larry, I have a strong belief that when you're red versus white, you should be more aggressive with your opening bids because of that very reason. You want to get in there with your vulnerable bid so that they can't steal from you.
Well, in general, I mean, I like getting in on the one level before it gets too tough to get in. So generally speaking, I like that.
Yeah, but this is junior bridge. There is no level that's too high for them.
Yes, in fact, George, I'm wondering, we're going to play 15 boards. I'll make the over-under line 1/2 on number of redoubled contracts. I don't know which side you want to take.
I'm going to go under, Larry, because I think they're going to be on their best behavior tonight, being with Hamman in the game and with Viewgraph. I think the juniors are going to take this very seriously.
Okay, so you're on record. So let's see, in this 3-diamond contract, declarer is going to have to make a lot of black suit plays here with some guessing involved. He can, let's see which spade he's going to put in, and he's in the thing is, when the spade loses, East can't really get at him because of the Queen of Hearts and dummy is stopping the heart plays. So declarer's in pretty good shape.
Except that they'll have to return a spade, and that'll set up the king for a trick. So that will get rid of one of their clubs. So they'll lose a club. The club and 2 spades here, I believe.
Yeah, I guess the question is, could South have aggressively raised to 3-no trump, facing roughly 19, 20, 21 in a good running suit, and if 3-no trump had received, say, a heart lead into the ace-queen, declarer would, with the diamond king on side, would have 5 diamonds, 2 hearts, and he'd have to, and he plays a club to the 10, he'd make 3-no trump vulnerable. We don't know what will happen at the other table.
True, and East has made a small error here by returning the King of Hearts. He had to know it was going to be rough, and now that sets up a second pitch for the clubs and dummy. So that'll be one less trick that they lose. And while it won't matter in the long term, it's still an imp.
Yeah, one other thing, as I was private messaged, when Bob Hamman's going to be playing the 3-no trump, maybe it's an extension of Hamman's rule. Hamman's rule is, when in doubt, bid 3-no trump, but Maybe the addendum is if Hammon's going to be playing it, then definitely the 3-note trump.
Yes, they're in 3-note, we've been told. What do you think's going to happen there, Larry?
Well, with the heart lead, they'll probably, if East opened the bidding, and if he leads a heart, declarer will run the diamonds and probably play a club to the 10. So I think they'll make it. I don't know if there's a better opening lead. I'll predict 600, but I haven't seen the opening lead. Okay, so here South has 18 high card points, and they're playing 1-note trump is 15 to 17. So this is your normal open a club and rebid 2-note trump, and I think Hamman will pass that, so we'll see a 2-note trump contract.
I think you're right with 5 flattish points and nothing great. He does have texture. He certainly has no trump texture, but I think you're right.
So declarer is going to win this lead and work on diamonds. We can see, double dummy, you can easily make 3-note trump by winning this lead, crossing in spades, and leading a diamond to the jack, and fortuitously finding that gray diamond lie for 9 tricks. But since declarer is only in 2-note trump, he might just play diamonds from his hand and hope the defenders can't take enough tricks. If declarer wins this and say he plays ace of diamonds, jack of diamonds, he's setting up 8 tricks for himself: 4 diamonds, 3 spades, and a heart, assuming diamond 8. And he has to think in terms of what will he lose. He's going to lose the king of diamonds, at least 3 hearts, at least 1 club. So that's a little scary. We can see it'll work. One thing you would like to know is, go ahead, George.
That also assumes that they finish the hearts in the correct hand and that they can't put a club through at that point. So to give the best defense here, when East is in with a heart winner or the king of diamonds winner, they need to at some point put a club through before they run the hearts. Otherwise, declarer has no choice and may not have any choice anyway but to put up the king of clubs.
One thing declarer would like to know is how the hearts split. And these opponents, they do lead 4th best, but you can't read the 4 of hearts. If the opening lead had been the 3 of hearts, the lowest one, declarer would know that the hearts were splitting 4-3. But as it was with the 4 of hearts led, he doesn't know who has the 3. And this is a major part of no trump play, is trying to figure out how their suit has split. And if you watch the 4th best lead, that makes a big difference. Here, you just can't tell if they're 4-3 or 5-2. Now, if declarer were in 3-note trump, in an admittedly terrible contract, he would cross to spades and hope for the diamond miracle, singleton or doubleton king onside. Here in 2-note trump, the problem with crossing to the spade is a defender with 3 diamonds to the king could just hold up and there'd be no entry to the diamonds.
For those of you at home and at the ships at sea, what Larry is saying is that sometimes you have to play for a specific holding in order to make your contract. So declare, if they were in 3-note trump, would have had to play for the king doubleton on side of diamonds. Now here you'll note that the wrong hand is on lead with the hearts. So he has 1 club, and now they won't even get that one. I guess they still get it later.
Yeah, well, as it was, if East had ended up on lead and led a club, declarer would have no choice but to play the king. He doesn't even have a guess, unless he wants to play to minimize the under trick. So on this layout, he was always going to be okay. What did you mean by at sea, George? I'm on land.
You know, Larry, that was interesting. You wrote me the other day. I asked you how many days a year you're at sea giving lectures on cruise ships. And could you repeat the answer?
I think, well, it changes depending on what mood I'm on and who I answer, but I think about, 75, 80 days on ships.
And the rest?
Well, I think I said 100 days teaching, 100 days golfing, and then I couldn't figure out. I was stuck with about 80 days, and I didn't know what I'd do on those.
All right, here we have a 5-club contract north-south that might or might not make. And what can east-west do? They have many, many hearts and spades among their treasures.
Yeah, it's a very interesting deal. East could have used Texas, not expecting to make 4 hearts, but as a semi-preemptive move. I can't say I blame him for going low, but you know, it would have been nice to keep north-south out. Now South has a choice. I would actually double to show diamonds and then later bid spades.
I agree with you totally. I would do that as well. The east hand has the stakes.
You're not going to buy it for 2 hearts these days. Someone's going to come in. And here, incidentally, Hamman didn't come in over 1-no trump because when you have a suit like that club suit, and especially with the opponents vulnerable, it's nice to wait around and see if maybe they will play a no trump, and you might get to take the first 6 tricks. So Hamman was probably going to come in later. I can't believe he's not coming in over 2 hearts, though. Wouldn't you think he'd bid 3 clubs here, George?
I would. In fact, Larry, do you remember the story of me holding ace, king, queen, jack, 6 to clubs on opening lead against 6 no trump?
I do. There was a revoke. Yes, I think there was a lead out of turn.
No, I let a club, and Ron Smith didn't follow suit, and then later he found one, and I had to switch to their suit. So they made 6 no trump. And the greatest part about it was me deciding whether or not I would double in advance. By the way, South has a super easy 2-spade bid here.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is right. So he's doubling for takeout. Maybe he thinks Hamman might have 5 hearts. This is very strange. I don't know. See, if Hamman had bid 3 clubs on his own, South probably would have bid 3 hearts to just, you know, there'd be no stopping him.
Yeah, this is very interesting. But now they want to get the clubs. You never know what's going to happen now here.
Yeah, well, Hamman, doesn't he have to say something more than 3 clubs here?
100%. He could jump to 4 or he could cube it here. He's got a great hand. Hamman still thinks there's a possibility of 3 no trump as well. Okay, that's pretty pusillanimous. Bob should have done more than that.
George, it's a good thing this was voice commentary, because I think if you had to type that word, you'd have no chance.
And it would have taken me 5 minutes. I think I like this, Larry. I'm not very good on the keyboard, but I can speak, so this is kind of fun. So we've got a 3-heart competitive bid, which will make it even more interesting for North-South to continue on. They'll probably buy it here. I can't imagine South bidding again, but it's possible. And West, with the same balanced hand that he started with, couldn't possibly bid.
Well, in all fairness, 5 clubs has issues. I mean, even, you know, they start with spade, 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 and you have to trump with a 10 of clubs, and there's a fair amount of handling involved. So it's not like 5 clubs is lay down.
Well, luckily he's in 4 clubs, so it'll be fine.
No, I'm not even sure how, you know, let's see, how would you make 5 clubs if, I mean, you can't, if you set up the diamonds, you can't get to them. Can you trump enough hearts? You know, I don't even know that 5 clubs, how I'd play it, or with, you know, with the clubs 3-1, it's not even clear.
Larry, maybe you purposely draw only 2 rounds of clubs and then you duck a diamond. Whoa,
you have to lose 2 spade tricks, so I better not do any ducking if I'm in 5.
Oh, you're saying in 5, so that's in 4. I think that might be a way to play it.
Right, in 4, let's see, if you duck a diamond and they return a diamond. Yeah, so 2 rounds of trump, then a diamond to the jack, and that's, I think that, let's see, what bad could happen. That sounds pretty good, George. That's one of your better analyses.
It's the first time, and it's because I can actually think a little.
Yeah, well, I'm just not sure it's right. Like one of these John Lindsay III guys out there is probably going to write a letter and tell us there's a better line.
By the way, for the audience, the Hammon's partner, David Sukup, was chosen on a random draw. Hockenberg, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Hakan, but he decided who was going to play in the event under David Caprera's leadership and Michael Rosenberg's, and they decided who was going to play in the event, and then it was random draw as to who got to play with Bob Hammond. Some of the juniors are actually sitting out tonight. They had more than were needed, and they have some established partnerships as well.
George, have you ever played with Bob Hammond, or has Bob Hammond ever had the good pleasure of playing with you?
Bob and I have, I think we've successfully avoided each other as partners, but easily one of the most fun hands I ever had in my entire life was against Hammond, and he would probably still be sputtering if you brought it up again today. I was playing with Alfredo Versace in the blue ribbon pairs, and we started out in 5th position going into the last set. And if you remember eBridge, they decided to camp out at our table and set up a computer and watch our glorious evening session. Well, the first 9 boards didn't go so well. So on the next board, we played a gadget where Alfredo opened 2 diamonds showing both majors weak. And I had 7 hearts to the king and an ace and nothing else. So I decided to bid 2 no trump to sort of psych and ask him how his hand was. And Hamman was on my right. On my left, lull, I said double. And Alfredo said redouble, which in our system showed that it was a minimum hand. So it's gone 2 hearts, 2 diamonds by Alfredo, 2 no trump by me, a psych, double, redouble by Alfredo, passed by Bob Hammond. And now I started saying to myself, they're not going to lead a spade. He's shown the majors. We've got 7 running hearts, and I got an ace, and I'm so desperate for any match points that I can find. I passed 2 no trump redouble. They happened to lead the suit of my ace that I claimed 8 tricks, and the steam came out of their heads.
Yeah, I remember hearing that, George. There's your redoubled contract that we wanted. George, did you notice that Hammond followed your line of play? He played a diamond to the jack on the last deal.
He's been picking up a lot of pointers from me over the years, and I'm glad to see that he's finally starting to retain some of that good work.
Okay, here we have a jury auction. Support doubles where next thing you know, you end up in 2 clubs. Players forget to use jury. They forget their partners use jury. I don't expect that to happen here. West's 2 spades in the modern style. Well, just for those who don't know, the 2 club, what jury means is it's artificial. It doesn't mean clubs. When you're a passed hand and your partner has opened a major in 3rd or 4th seat, and you have a limit raise, 3 or more, you'd say 2 clubs to tell you have 10 to 12, 10 or more in support. What you have, there's no game opposite a passed hand, and if West had game interest, he would have done something else.
You saw how easily Declare got the heart right there because most people lead away from queens rather than from aces. So it was easy to put in the jack of hearts. The next one, the diamond finesse, they'll probably get that right as well, but they may or may not. So they'll start counting points, who had which points in which hand, and try and figure out who is more likely to have the ace or the queen of diamonds. The good thing about juniors is they make those plays quickly. If Michael Rosenberg was sitting there for all the money trying to decide who had the queen and the ace of diamonds, you could watch some of your kids grow up and go to college before that happened.
Well, as a ViewGraph commentator, I kind of like when the play slows so I can get in all of my points. When it goes too quickly like this, you can't discuss. I mean, I'm still trying to talk about jewelry, and they're already on trick 5.
I mean, that's the nice thing about juniors. They play fast, and they play with reckless abandon. You know, damn the torpedoes. I can't find any more losers here, actually, so I think they're probably going to make 4 spades, aren't they?
Yeah, well, the way the diamonds sit, he's got 3 diamond tricks should he need them. He's going to take the rest of the tricks. Was it a good game or not? Certainly a lot of queen ace guesses and things involved.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting
and not vulnerable.
Game, but boy,
you don't really push for these things.
10-9 of diamonds and the 9-8 of clubs and the 10 of hearts. A lot of good. While we have a moment here, East
so
West
for those new to watching, yeah, I seem to have their convention card. George, not everyone, a lot of people are watching for the first time here because I emailed to my big list of people, so they're rookies, and they might not realize you can see the results on the other table. And on board 2, under the results, not if you can find it, there was a crazy result on board 2 at the other table by South down 3 and a 4-3 fit. Well, if we have a chance, we'll look at that. I think it's better to look at the board in front of us meantime.
Right, and the way you find that is you look down at the bottom in the red, it says results. And then it shows you what's happening at your table or the other table. So there was a 14-imp swing on that board, Larry.
Yeah, 4 spades, double down 3. Well, if we get a moment, we'll take a look at that. These guys play too fast to give us a moment. So here the question is, the South Open has balanced 12, and these days, especially white on red, it's just, you know, it's just what you do. If it was really, really ugly, I might not, like if it was all queens and jacks, but this has a 10 and an ace queen, and it's just the current style is to open these hands.
And by doing so,
it just makes it harder on your opponents. Like when you, well, yeah, you steal the pot and just
you're going to steal the pot here, game.
Well, but in general, the reason we open light is not just because it's in fashion, but our opponents don't bid as well. When they get to open the bidding, they're much better bidders. A lot of people are private messaging me, sorry, I can't read it all, so, you know, I just can't do it. So I don't know if they're inundating you, George, but I'm just telling them I can't reply, sorry.
Yeah, where I can, I do, and otherwise I don't. I mean, they understand. Certainly the experienced people that are messaging us understand that a lot of things going on here. Like Al Hollander just said something, and he certainly is a very experienced ViewGraph person. He knows what's going on all the time. Smart guy.
Yeah, well, you're trying to think of the next joke. All right, so let's see. I would have, with West, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm okay with 1 heart. You know, I like to preempt when my partner's a passed hand, but I would be afraid of not missing a spade fit, so I'm fine with 1 heart. North's 2 clubs is 10 or more points. Nobody plays that game forcing in competition, not with the competition. So South's 3 clubs is non-forcing. I think I would have liked 2-no trump with the South hand. What about you, George, just to slow things down a little?
I think you're probably right. 3 clubs is pretty aggressive forward going. I don't think you're going to keep Hamman for bidding a game anyway, but I think we could have gotten a little better result here. Hamman will probably be end played into bidding 3-no trump here, which he's not opposed to anyway.
Yeah, I would have just bid 2-0 with South, and North would say 3-0. Now, oh dear, what happened here? So Hammond thought 3 diamonds was forcing, but I'm not so sure why it would be. I mean, 3 clubs shouldn't be forcing, and 3 diamonds, you know, they're certainly not a regular partnership. I have sympathy for South's pass. I wouldn't think any reason 3 diamonds is forcing.
I agree with you, Larry. I think Bob should have probably done something different. Maybe he thought he only had 1 heart stopper and he wanted to get to a safer spot.
Yeah, so certainly this one needs discussion. I mean, North-South have 26 high card points and an easy 3-0 trump. You know, again, it's not a regular partnership. So here's a good general rule I have is, you know, if Hammond playing a part score, if his partner, all he could do was pass 3 diamonds, and I guess he's seen some of the hands these guys open white on red, and maybe he figured there was no game if South had a dead minimum.
For those that are unfamiliar with the players, East is David Yoon and West is Kyle Rockoff. And strangely enough, they both live, well, let's see, 2 of the players live in Rockville, Maryland, and neither of them is at this table. And I can't tell you much about either one of them. We got a good bit of backup on some of the others, but not too much on these players. Larry,
okay, so 1 heart by South. Yeah, I don't, you know, I could live with it, but it's too good, I guess. I mean, certainly if it was king in a spade, we wouldn't be having this discussion. It would be way too strong for a preempt unless you wanted to really mix it up and open 4 hearts. But it just seems like too good a hand for a preempt to me. But, you know, I'd be afraid you open 3 hearts, it goes pass, 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 and partner has the ace of diamonds. And need I say any more? You practically have a game opposite 4 points. So I just think it's too good for a preempt.
Now, 3 clubs, this cannot be the same preempt again because that is a fantastic hand. You could have 3-no trump in your own hand almost.
Yeah, again, I think they're overdoing the, you know, opposite of pass, a partner who's passed to take liberties. But, I mean, look here, you know, East-West have a game, and West is never going to know his partner is this strong. And I think when when these boards are gone over with, you know, the pros, you gotta, you know, East here has to be concerned about that 3 club bid. I mean, it's too easy to miss a game.
I'm looking on their convention card to see what it is, if I can figure it out, because it seems suspicious that it's just weak.
Well, it says weak, and certainly if it was stronger, West would have done something. I mean, they have a laydown game. Slam is, you know, you'd need the ace of spades on side. You want to slam, but this is a pretty ridiculous result for East-West.
Yeah, the juniors are sort of disappointing me in a way. Usually they're very, very ultra aggressive, and here they're being sort of conservative. Maybe they're pulling it a notch for our benefit. So I'm going to send them a text message because they all text during the game, and I'm going to tell them they got to really pick it up here.
I hope they're not texting each other.
No,
obviously they're not, because East-West have gone really off the deep end here with this auction. Well, what would I bid with the East hand over a hard pass of spade? You know, who knows if three hearts asks for a heart stopper? That'd be kind of a weird bid. I think I would just bid two clubs, or I think I'd bid
I
two
mean,
clubs for the moment.
you might bid a pedestrian two clubs, but then again, you might get creative. I mean, you've got 8 running clubs and a spade stopper. You might bid a no trump or 3-no. Your partner almost rates to have a heart stopper. And very often they leave the suit of that's been by their partner. Again, against me, they often won 5 diamonds. So I love a no trump bid there though. But normal range you would bid 2 clubs.
George, I think you're fading out a little. Did you move away from your microphone?
I moved up to the...
Yes. Well, it's better if we want to hear you. It depends on what exactly you're asking.
There is that. I'm doing this in front of my computer without a headset or anything, and I'm really trying to speak right into the microphone. My first time ever using it.
That's a fastball down the middle, George. I won't touch that. All right, so let's see what's happening here. North-South can aggressively bid to 4 spades, so a face king of spades and the ace of clubs and a ton of handling, which 4-1 spades defeats. And meantime, East-West can get aggressive and play in game in hearts, I guess, even clubs. So this is a pretty exciting hand. Hamman starts with a weak 2-bid, which seems fine to me. 3 clubs by East, I'm okay with that. And now South, maybe 4 diamonds.
You don't think they'll bring the spade suit into play here? You think they'll just stay with diamonds?
Well, I like the idea of taking away the raise to 4 clubs. You know, if you bid 3 spades, that lets them raise clubs easier.
Oh, they forgot that raise to 5 clubs.
Yeah, I would raise my partner to game if he overcalled on the 3 level. So let's see, 5 clubs, well, with a diamond lead, you can do ace king of spades throwing a heart, ruff of spade throwing another heart, but ultimately it looks like you have to lose 2 heart tricks in 5 clubs.
That is true. I'm gonna vote for the, well, they've saved in 5 diamonds, so let's see what happens there. I think nothing good.
Well, down 2 if they get the ruff. They have a club trades and a ruff, so 300. The problem is it's a phantom sacrifice.
Still a chance for a redouble though, Larry.
I don't think so here. I don't blame South though. I mean, you know, he's got all those points in diamonds. It turns out the Jack of Hearts, which he could have known. I mean, the Jack of Hearts is a good potential defensive card. That's the card that defeats 5 clubs. So if South didn't have the Jack of Hearts, it would be a legitimate sacrifice.
That is true. So let's see what they did at the other table.
Well, they're about 5 boards behind us at the other table.
They certainly are. In general, when you're doing view graph, you like to have the other table go ahead of you and play faster. They have taken a re-sacrifice.
Well, East was
so they
embarrassed.
were going to go for 500. Now they're going to go for 300 the other way.
Well, no double, no trouble. I guess East figured, you know, he was facing a passed hand, and he had all those clubs. He had no defense, and he needed his partner to have 3 tricks, which his partner miraculously had. I would have opened the West hand, and George would have opened the West hand, and almost everyone we know would have opened ace, king, ace. And East probably just figured he had negative defense, and how were they going to set 5 diamonds double? So I have sympathy for this.
Not only ace, king, ace, Larry, but 2 10s and 2 9s. Those are valuable cards. I would open that in a heartbeat. I'm going to look it up on the Kaplan Scheinwald hand evaluator and see what it comes to.
Yeah, probably about 13. There's a lot of computer software programs where you can type in a hand and it tells you what they're really worth. And, you know, ace, king, ace to begin with, and an ace, king, 10, 4th suit to another ace. Aces are undervalued, and aces with kings. I'm going to guess 13.2, George. Let me know.
I said Shinewell, but of course I meant Captain Rubin. As close as they come, Larry, 13.15.
Oh, well, you didn't ask me to go out to the second decimal. All right.
Well, you spent a lot of time on board ship, and you're probably...
All right, so North's going to pass it.
Go ahead.
I've listened to Marty Bergen on hand evaluation for 40 years. He's has it down to the last how to count the 8s and the 9s. Okay, so East, if there's any Flannery fans out there, I know maybe Steve Weinstein's listening and a few others, they would open 2 diamonds, but I think I would guess about 15% of experts use Flannery. Is that your guess, George? Somewhere in that range?
Yes, not that many people. By the way, the South hand to me is a classic preempt. 3 clubs here is absolutely perfect. White versus red.
Yeah.
And he has found
Yeah, well, classic might have is a little, you might have a 7th club or the queen, but I know what you mean. I think it's routine as opposed to those other 3 club bids we've seen with 13 chicks in their own hand. This is more like it to me.
Yeah, totally agree. It won't not get a courtesy raise from Hamman, but it's pretty good bid. Now, do they have more than a game here? What do they have?
Yeah, oh, they have a slam. Yeah, they have. It's a beautiful layout. They can draw trump. As long as trumps aren't 4-0, you have a slam because you can throw a diamond from dummy on the 4th spade, lose a diamond, and trump a diamond in the dummy. So actually 6 hearts is pretty basically laid down other than 4-0 trump. So not easy to get there, though. I mean, I wouldn't, you'd need some sort of gadget, or I mean, you need more room.
Well, Larry, how do you feel about this? Do you feel that even with
Maybe
a
Flannery
minimum hand, that might have solved the problem, but with a minimum hand that East has, do you think they should accept bid 4 diamonds along the way anyway and see what happens?
Yeah, I think East is worth 4 diamonds. You know, yes, he's got a minimum, but he's got a singleton in their suit, and that makes a big difference. When you have a singleton in the suit they've preempted, it's worth so much more. First of all, not only as a control, but your partner doesn't rate to have a lot of wastage opposite that. He doesn't rate to have lots of queens and jack. You know, the opponents have those club cards, so the fit is better. And he had good trump, which is important for slam bidding, good controls, good structure. So yes, I think East was worth 4 diamonds, but I don't know if West would have made another move over that.
I believe he would have had to. I think if he hears 4 diamonds from East.
So yeah, over Flannery. Yeah, over 4 diamonds West with the 3 aces, right? So over Flannery, assuming South didn't come in, West would say 2-no trump, and they'd have all sorts of gadgetry, and West would find out his partner is 4-5-3-1, and he could start to imagine king of spades for the discard of the diamond. So actually, the Flannery people, I suspect, could have a very intelligent auction to 6 hearts. So they should be out there gloating or cackling or something.
something for sure. So here's a 2-note trump opener by West, and then where will it lead? And will he get to open it even?
Well, it would lead to a director call because South's going to open in front of him.
That's my point exactly. So this is going to go a club, and now that's his best suit. I guess he has to double and then jump after that.
Well, he doesn't have to jump. He could double, and if he can, did 1-note trump, that would be showing roughly 19 or 20, although I have a really hard time teaching that. It's one of those concepts, for some reason, it's hard to grasp. They think they have to double and then jump in no trump. All they have to do is double and bid no trump, shows more than a 1-no overcall. So here, South will pass, West will bid a no trump, and I can't imagine anyone else bidding again unless he says 2 diamonds. I don't see it.
Larry, a lot of people think that rebidding 1-no trump there shows 18, 19, and no trump would show a little more. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't want to quibble over a point, but I think I would think a 1-no vulnerable overcall goes up to about 18, and double followed by 1-no trump is like a good 18 to 20-ish. Would you really want to jump to 2-no? To 2-no with this 20-point hand? I don't think so.
Not me. I'm just wondering. So they can make a lot of stuff here if they can, even if they could ever, can they get the dummy? Yeah, they can make a lot of tricks here.
Yeah, because the King of Hearts is in the unlikely where you would not expect it to be. But without that King of Hearts there, Declarer's got a big struggle reaching dummy, and he doesn't know where the King of Hearts is, so he might do something sexy instead of just leading to the King of Hearts, to the Queen of Hearts. Let's see.
What I like to do on hands like this, Larry, is toward the end of the hand, I just like to say dummy's good. The funny thing is that he's got a little blockage here.
Yeah, well, he can do the Yeah, I would guess it's not.
This hand says 19 and a half.
Yeah, because it's 4 triple 3, no good spots, honors in the short suits. It's not a particularly thrilling hand.
Hey, for the folks at home, when you are 4 triple 3, your hand isn't quite as good as you think it is. You just got no place for any action. So 4 triple 3, you want to maybe go low on hands like that, even if you're a junior.
So it's kind of interesting here. I mean, we see the way the cards lie, there's no real problem, but Declarer has a lot of card reading and guesswork to do, and boy, whatever it is, he's doing it much which king and who to throw in, and I guess he just took your line, George. Dummy's good. I'll get there with a heart.
I love it when they do that. This table is playing remarkably fast, but I think everybody is sort of on their best behavior and not taking a lot of time. Apparently at the other table they are.
Yeah, we can see that on board 4, north-south. This is the hand where Hamman had ace, king, queen, 10, 6 of clubs, and the other side used a Jacoby transfer, and they did bid and make 5 clubs north-south. They're doing a lot more bidding at the other table. All right, so here North has a balanced 18 to 19, so this is a 2-no rebid, and I'm guessing that North hand is much more than 18 on the KNR or any of those programs. You have aces and kings and 10 nines with the that that hand's probably worth about 20. Anyway, it's going to go diamond, a heart, and now north could say 3 hearts or even 4 hearts.
I don't know if it helps him or hurts him that the spade bit intervened.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's okay. Ace third and the spade leader's on lead. So if he happens to have the king and your partner has the queen of spades, you're playing it from the right side. Okay, I just got some answers.
There's a loser in every suit, so it's going to be how you play the diamonds.
Let's see. I'm told this hand's worth about 20, 19.4, 20.05. Okay. So anyway, yeah, right, George. You definitely know you have to lose a club. You have to lose at least a heart, presumably a diamond, and you'd like to get rid of a spade on the diamond. So that's the preliminary thinking. I really stress, and almost all teachers agree with me, in a suit contract to think in terms of what tricks will I lose. Don't look for 10 tricks. Like on a hand like this, you'd go crazy looking for 10 tricks. Just think in terms of what you're going to lose. A club, probably a heart, and a spade, and a diamond, like George, you said that, right? So how will we get rid of one of them? And yeah, the obvious thought is a spade on the diamonds. And George, you analyzed that so quickly. I heard George say all those things I'm saying now, like in light speed, that it depends how you play the diamonds. Well done, George.
I played this hand a few weeks ago, Larry. That's how I knew. So you want to find the diamond, split 3-3, or pick up an honor doubleton. So I think the simplest thing to do is play king and ace of diamonds. And when you find that one of the diamond honors pops, now you cash the ace king. You win this in your hand. So you keep the ace of hearts ace of spades as a fast entry to dummy. You cash 2 hearts. You leave the high heart outstanding, and now you give up a diamond, and you remain with the ace of spades in the hand in order to get to that good diamond. I think that's the simplest way to do it. That way you don't have to go finessing back and forth.
Well, yeah, that's a very simplified answer. I mean, I guess you also have to think about what if hearts are 4-1. Certainly if hearts are 3-2, the hand's going to be much simpler. Can you deal with 4-1 like if West has a singleton honor? That's another headache to be considering, the entry problem. And the diamond suit by itself, it's one of my pet peeves, George, is these, scientific players, they've memorized these suit combinations, and they'll say, well, low to the 8 is 43% and low to the, but it depends on the rest of the hand. So it really is not that big a deal to know exactly how to play the diamond suit. It depends on the bidding. In this case, West has the spade length. It depends on so many things. So it's far from clear how to play the diamond suit. And George, he didn't keep the entry. Yeah, he didn't keep the entry.
He's denuded all of his, unless he's just planning to duck a diamond now.
What did he do? Did you say something about a dog, or what did he do? Denuded what?
I said he denuded the north hand of entries. Now, it could still work with the king of clubs on there, but I think he's going to duck this. I think he's just decided that's the way to play it.
Well, if he ducked it, they could play another spade, and then he's entries.
Yeah, the problem is, how does he get back to dummy to cash the 4th diamond once he sets it up? That's why at trick 1, he should have won the king of spades in his hand, keeping the ace of spades as the entry to the 4th diamond, because now he's going to set it up and can't get there in time. He can get there eventually, but not in time.
Well, he stuck the diamond through, which is I don't know what East was thinking there. So if East had taken the queen of diamonds and played a spade.
Well, now he doesn't have a diamond loser, so this is all very strange. I don't think that West had a chance to card wrong. I think that it was what it was. Playing the jack of diamonds is definitely a doubleton.
Well, one thing in all fairness, we should point out here, George, while some of the bidding and play has been a little iffy, try to have a little sympathy, because what these players are doing here is, it's really hard to do. They know we're commentating. They know a lot of people are watching. It's going to be scrutinized, and that in itself can totally derail your concentration and your thinking. It takes a lot of experience playing with kibitzers and viewgraph and commentator. Sometimes you just get deer in the headlights the first few times. Maybe that happened to you, George.
You're absolutely right, Larry. Now, Larry and I have played on viewgraph and at tables with screens thousands of times, and Larry and I love kibitzers. The more kibitzers, I can understand that people playing for the first time in front of a million kibitzers might be reluctant to get everything right. I understand that. Larry, what do you got here?
Well, it looks like East West are apologizing to each other, which is nice to see. I mean, that's okay to apologize, as opposed to say, why didn't you do such and such. Well, here it looks like we have a slam on the club guess, and they are 3-1. So all things if you have no reason to, the odds are favor ace king of clubs. So 6 clubs you would think would go down, or 6 hearts. On the other hand, well, you wouldn't get to that, and there's entry trouble. So, you would expect North-South to just be in a game here. Well, then again, they have a lot of points. 12 opposite, 18, 30 high, and some long suits. So, yeah, they might be in slam, and I don't know why they would make it, though.
On that last hand, there was an 8-point swing, 8 imps, and now the match is difference by 7. It was touch and go before that hand.
Well, that's one. Board 6 is the one where North-South had 26 points, and where Hamman did 3 diamonds, maybe thinking it was forcing, and they played an apart score. So that was no surprise that North-South won a swing. All right, well, here we're going to assume it's a 2/1 game forcing auction. So 2 clubs natural, 2 diamonds natural. I would certainly say 3 clubs now with the South hand, if it's forcing, which I highly recommend playing that way.
I agree. I hate when 3 clubs you can get out in 3 clubs. Once you make a 2/1 bid, you can't get out anymore, and that way you can bid what you need to bid along the way without any fear of being passed out.
Yeah, like in old-fashioned here, South would have to bid 4th suit forcing, 2 spades, and jam up the whole auction. Here he can just bid 3 clubs forcing, over which Hamman has a terrific hand. I would think keycard Blackwood now. The only problem being that if you get the wrong answer, you might be off 2 key cards, and you'll have to do one of those mechanisms to escape into 5 no trump. This is where a lot of expert pairs have a way to ask for key cards on a lower level, like something called minor wood or redwood or kickback. But Hamman doesn't do those things with a new partner, for sure.
And what Larry's referring to is 4 diamonds would ask for key cards and clubs, and that keeps you at a lower level so you don't get too high, even when the answer is unhappy for you.
Yeah, and some people even use 4 club suit itself to ask for key cards, because if you say 4 no trump and you get some answer that takes you past 5 clubs and you're off 2 key cards, there's no way to get back to 5 clubs. I don't think Hamman's going to be done here. I mean, his partner has a 6 or more clubs and a game force. So when I'm trying to do, like I'm in a slam evaluation auction, you just picture, like from North's point of view, picture your partner with, say, 6 clubs, king, queen, and an ace. And that's only 9 points, and you have to play for slam opposite that. So that's how North knows he can't just stop in 3 no trump.
And 4 clubs here is the simplest and most direct way to do this. It says, partner, we're going past 3 no trump. We're going to play clubs. Please cue bid for me. I would have cue bid 4 diamonds first, but it's a matter of style, I guess.
Yeah, and this is where even the most expert partnerships of all, get stuck. Is 4 hearts playable or passable? South doesn't really care, because if his partner passes, it won't be the end of the world. But you know, I played with some guy named David for about 18 years, and even with all our discussions, we never knew if 4 hearts in this auction was natural or a control bid or something. I think Hammon's taken a practical bid here.
Larry, I'd just like to point out the map. You played with David for 18 years. You've been retired for about 5, and you played with Marty for 40. That makes you about 84. Is that correct?
Well, before I answer your comedy, I do have to say if they don't lead the ace of spades, declarer can cast the ace king of clubs and start taking discards. How would that work out? Let's see. Say they lead a diamond. He can take ace king of clubs, ace king of hearts, throw a spade on the king of diamonds. He won't be able to get rid of everything in time. Okay, that's the end of my serious analysis. So no matter what the lead is, other than a low spade, I don't see that he's going to guess the trumps here. I only played with Marty for 8 years, George, plus a week in last November.
I remember. You did pretty well last November, right? Didn't you make it to like the round of 60?
Well, neither of us killed each other. I consider that doing pretty well.
Larry has bugged me for years. Anytime I tell a Claude story in Larry's presence, Larry has a Marty Bergen story to counter it with. And sometimes he raises me.
Careful, George. You're going to get me in trouble. I'm not allowed to tell too many Marty Bergen stories, so I have to be careful.
What about when my book comes out, Larry? Can I put some of them in there that you've given me?
You're going to have to recheck them with me. All right, so now why would declarer guess this? Let's see. There are some players who are really good at table field here. I mean, the odds, it's just 8 ever, 9 never. There's no bidding. The guy led the ace of spades. Does that mean anything? I know people who would get all crazy that East played the 10 and then the 9 of clubs. That means nothing. Well, he sure didn't waste any time with it.
The famous Italian problem there. The answer was, in this tournament, diamonds never split.
Yeah, we know. All right, I won't get it. George, you're going to get us in trouble.
I've been in trouble before. Here's another Flannery hand for you, Larry.
Yeah, and if it was Flannery, I don't know. Would South do anything other than with open 2 diamonds? Probably only 2 spades. So here a heart of spade, 3 spades, which South go. You know, vulnerable at imps, you just go. That's basically what it comes down to. The imp odds strongly favor being aggressive in your game bidding. And let's see, what kind of a contract's 4 spades? Well, you're off the top, ace of hearts, ace king of diamonds. So you need a lot of splits and a lot of racing luck. And here, your luck is going to end very quickly. Ace king of diamonds in a rough and the ace of hearts. So it's a pretty aggressive game, but we've all done worse.
No matter which way, who leads the diamonds, you're going to lose 3 diamond tricks.
Well, if they never play more of them, you can get rid of them on the hearts, and on a good day, the jack of diamonds is on side. So, you know, both players bid a little bit extra here. I'm okay with North's 3 spades. He has yes, 13 high card points, but he's got a singleton and beautiful playing strength and support of spades. You know, I would say North has 13 high, 2 for the singleton at least in support, 1 for the quality heart suit. I sound like Marty Berg, and I like 3 spades, and South aggressively bid 4. I'm okay with it.
There's many times when the South hand could have 5 spades. They're not limited to 4.
So here it's just a matter of signals, and East presumably showed encouragement. We can see all kinds of action and swings coming in. Board 7 at the other table now, another one of those exciting deals we saw. They went low. That's the deal where East had 8 running clubs and sold out. But miraculously,
that's the one where I asked you if they would preempt, if they would open that with my South.
Right, and miraculously the other way made 4 hearts double. That's an incredible result. East West had a slam, and they're played in a part score, and their teammates are coming back plus 790. That's pretty. That's quite a result.
And South did hearts 4 times.
Yeah, they really misdefended, and I'm sure the teachers and pros are going to have to. They have a lot of material here to work on.
I just noticed that West at the other table was Elon Wolf. He is, I played with him as a partner last week or earlier, last week on BBO on Thursday.
Open a diamond, but second choice, I don't want to open 3 diamonds. I have so much playability, so many cards in the majors. Call me old-fashioned, but I wouldn't preempt.
But you also have a very ragged diamond suit. There's a lot to be said for getting in there and preempting and blowing everybody out of the water. Sometimes you blow your partner out, but I would preempt here.
You'd open 3 diamonds.
I would. I know it's not popular, but I would do it.
That's all right. You might buy it there. Well, South could probably scrape up a 3-heart overcall, and then North-South would reach 4 hearts, which seems to be where they belong. But yeah, 3 diamonds could steal it. Would you overcall 3 hearts with the South hand, white on white, George?
Boy,
I think I would.
That's tricky. I might, and certainly if I only had 5 hearts, there would be no chance of it. But it's possible over 3 diamonds. Because you get a little incentive, you know they're weak. So you might.
Yeah, and here we see, without the preempt, North-South are going to routinely get to 4 hearts. So this is just one of those arguments that preempting sometimes works. If you're listening, Michael Rosenberg, he once, his theme was preempts don't always work. And, you could argue all day. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, and sometimes you don't.
Can you let me know when you don't, George?
I never have any idea, Larry. I will tell you that we have 327 kibitzers who are seeing possibly the future of bridge here. There's some very talented junior players, and we're encouraging everybody to help support the junior program in any way you can. Support them financially, play with them, just encourage them, show up at regionals where they practice, whatever you can do to help.
Well, and these are the top, we're talking about the really promising, and some of the top junior players here. Equally important, maybe more important to me, is programs to get younger people playing in general. I know they're developing an app and trying to get it into schools, anything to get this game younger and get younger people interested.
That is an amazingly favorable lead for Declare. It will now give him 2 diamond tricks. He won't even need the pitch. So we can just focus on hearts. When he finds the 2-2 split, he can pitch spades now, and maybe he'll try and pitch all of his spades.
Yeah, well, the clubs won't come in, but that's a very normal lead. Certainly, I would have led my singleton, especially with partner bidding the suit. So certainly a normal lead. And Declare, after drawing trumps, he'll start the clubs. He'll throw 1 spade away peacefully. Yeah, so he'll end up making 5.
have started the hearts with the king, Larry, just in case there was a show out?
Well, let's see. I know East has a lot of diamonds. I mean, he's not likely to have, the hearts aren't likely to be 4-0 that way with the diamond person. So, yeah, it's possible. I have to say, I mean, some of these plays, the speed they're making them at, I'd have too many, I would have slowed down the game many times here. So, yeah, it's possible, George, to start with the king of hearts. It would take a while to figure that out.
They are playing quite fast. It's amazing.
Yeah, one of the comments I got is, you know, if I were coaching and going over these stuff out, but I would suggest they do play a little more slowly. I mean, you just can't play at this speed and play well enough. There's way too many things to be thinking about, and I don't see them taking enough time.
And we're not suggesting slow play, just cautious.
Well, thinking's allowed. So let's see. North's double here is, you know, aggressive but normal. You want, you know, you do only have 3 hearts. You do have a minimum-ish hand, but you have to get in. You know, so North doubles and East 4 spades. Yeah, I'm okay with that. You know, 4 spades is a weak bid, but he's 5-3-3-2, so East's hand isn't that good, and he's going to buy it there. So that's it. 4 spades will be the contract. And it looks like there are a ton of losers here.
I really like 4 spades because it's preemptive. He knows that they don't have any possible slam situation because of the double. But on the other end of the coin is that spades outranks everybody else, and he could have gone slower and maybe bought it for 3.
Yeah, and 5-3-3-2 argues for caution. If he had gone slowly, I guess they would have bought it in 3 spades, and it would have been a triumph here. But, you know, we're a little bit resulting. It's certainly okay to say 4 spades. I'm guessing this isn't the perfect hand for law of total tricks. If you did the computation, I'm sure Mike Lawrence is ready to publish this in his next book.
I'm sorry, Larry, you said the law of total tricks. I'm just not familiar with that. Could you help us with that a little bit?
Don't get me started, George. I said that Mike Lawrence might put this hand in his next book. I have a feeling tricks don't equal trumps here. What were there, 10 spades, and North-South didn't have, what did they have, 9 diamonds? Is 19? It's probably not 19 tricks. So then I would have to tell him the negative adjustments, like flat shape and, oh, my rigmarole.
Larry and I each have our specialties, bids that we only talk to the other one about. Larry came running out of the team trials one day, and he said, George, he says, I just had to bid exclusion Blackwood, and I had 2 voids. What do I do?
Yeah, that's George's specialty, exclusion Blackwood. George, we're going to run out of time soon, but I wish I could tell everyone, George was my teammate about 17 years ago when Vukorev just started, and we were up like 70 imps with 1 set to go, and it was on Vukorev. And we were playing, and nothing seemed to be happening, but apparently in the other room, our teammates weren't doing well, and everyone started watching because our lead had dwindled to 20. And the Vukorev operator, who was pretty inexperienced, said to us, you guys better slow down. There's 1,000 people watching, and it's too slow, and my system's backed up. And we knew right away that the match had gotten close. I guess now people are realize the Vukorev operator shouldn't say anything.
Yeah, I was sitting out, and they scored the first 49 imps to get us only a 19 imp lead, and I was barred from Vukorev. Apparently, I said some unkind things.
All right, well, you know, unfortunately, this is the last deal, and there's way too many people to thank who organized this, and the Vukorev and the Bridge Base Online and all the people helping the juniors. I can't even name them all, but we really appreciate them.
This has been a lot of
George, it
fun
was a pleasure. it was